All right, you good to go, Jack?
All right, cool. We'll give everybody a couple more minutes, but
That's actually
looks like
Karen
Karen Wenning's here, so we can go ahead and start anytime. Important thing. So, hi, everybody. In the interest of giving everyone a couple more minutes to log in, we'll just start with some opening remarks. I'm Jack Munson. I'll be your host for the day today. We don't have any presentation. We're going to go right into the roundtable rooms with the facilitators. So get ready to engage everybody. A quick note before we start, if everybody could right click on their name and add at the end of your name either supplier, ZOR, or Z. We want to do that just to get a nice mix of suppliers, franchisors, and franchisees into all of the meeting rooms. So if you could go ahead and change that at the end of your name on the screen here. We've got two topics today. We'll be in the smaller meeting rooms for about 25 minutes each. The first topic is how to maximize the monetization of your customer data. And the facilitators for each of the rooms, if all of you guys could say hello, just so you get to the top of the stack here, we'll have Sherry Fishman from Fishman PR. Hey, Sherry.
Hello, guys.
Mary Hanula from Eulerity. Hi, Mary.
Hi.
And Mary Mills from College Hunks Hauling Junk.
Hi, everybody.
Good afternoon. And Trevor Rappley from Franchise Filming. Hey, Trevor.
Hello, hello.
All right. It looks like we've got a couple of pages of faces here. So let's go ahead and send everybody into the meeting rooms, Caitlin, and we'll be back here in about 25 minutes after some discussion.
All right, Jack.
All right, cool. Thanks for coming back, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the groups, and we'll go around the room and see if we can find a few nuggets from everybody's discussion. So, Sherry, let's start with you. Tell us about what your group came up with.
I'm going to go for Sherry because Sherry's been having some internet mishaps in the new home.
A little
Awesome.
So, Gabriella.
All right, Gabriella, thanks. Thanks for
No
jumping
problem.
in.
No problem. So I think the biggest themes for us where we're talking about how to make sure that we're simplifying what we're showing our franchise owners to something that's digestible and not too overwhelming, and stick in alignment with the KPIs and metrics that you set forth as a brand. And then secondly is how can we show in a better format measurable data for things that might be a little bit more intangible, such as social and paid advertising and SEO and things of that nature. So we were just talking about ways to maybe show how you're performing today, try to show better customer journey and really walk them through that process. But ultimately, it's about the story that you have to tell to the franchise owners and making sure that, you know, you have the data to back it up, but also that you can tangibly at least show them, you know, how you're ranking today, maybe how it has improved, you know, what you're doing from a marketing tactic perspective right now, and then how it's actually generating them revenue. So I think the more that we can stick to that story, but have data to back it up, is going to be a way to make yourself successful when you're talking to your franchise system.
Excellent. Thanks, Gabriella. Next group is Mary Hanula. Mary.
Awesome. Love it. So we actually, Gabby, we definitely had a few similar things, especially with transparency when it comes to knowing what's working and what's not. You know, you hear all the time, like say it in English or say it in not doctor terms, for lack of a better reference, but it really is, you're not born knowing what these marketing terms mean. And the more easily and efficiently it can be conveyed to you with what your ad spend and your revenue is going towards is key. We talked about pulling in operations, marketing automation, POS systems to provide more transparency on ROI, and just about how having the data isn't good enough if you're not doing anything with it. Love that quote, and how we really kind of started talking about just Facebook and Google updates and also the impact of that on marketing tactics and how to convey that to your clients.
Excellent. Thank you. Mary Mills had, I think, the quote of the day I've heard so far: data doesn't lie. So tell us more about that, Mary.
Data, even if you wanted to lie, you just can't make a lie. Our group really took off where Mary's group, it sounds like they ended. She ended by talking about Facebook and Google, and we focused on that quite a bit. Jack shared with us that the privacy restrictions that we're seeing now on Facebook are really just the start. That's bound to get a lot more restrictive in the future. If we think it's bad now, in 6 months, it's going to be really bad. So we really just focused on the need to collect and gather data now, develop loyalty programs now so we can collect data. And then once you have it, you have a clear understanding of who your customer is, take an omni-channel approach to keep reaching that customer. So across texting and emailing and retargeting and, you know, every platform, social, all everywhere. Once you know who those people are, just keep revisiting them. We talked about predictive analytics and how to use it to kind of look ahead to when a customer is going to need you next and start targeting them. And frequency, you know, when you know somebody's going to come back at a certain time, start reaching out to them in advance and get in front of them nice and early. So really just taking advantage of all the data you have, not to miss any opportunity.
Perfect. Thank you, Mary. And final group, Trevor. Trevor, you're on mute.
I'm on mute. Thank you.
I've been dying to say that all day.
Yeah, thank you, Jack. So the biggest thing, and I actually found this quote, forgot to say it, is 2% of people actually do something the first time they visit your site. So we pay for all these leads, we have all this data, but we don't retarget them. And that was one of the biggest things. We don't retarget them. And that's what we spoke about. Someone brought up that they did 5 different ads to 5 different types of people on LinkedIn, but they saw a better conversion rate and more leads when they actually did one group retargeted with 5 different ads. So it's better to niche down. It's better to focus on one group than try to find 5 different groups. I have my notes right here. And someone mentioned that you have to create different ad copy for the different people that you're trying to like market to. If you target a gym franchisee, you're going to make inspiring, pumped up videos, right? But you can't have the same message to every single lead that comes in. That's what we really gain from that. So be smarter with the data you have and don't be lazy and just craft out and blast out the same message to every single lead.
Excellent. I love that idea of looking at the data and discovering a new niche that maybe you want to punch down to a little bit. So thank you very much for that, Trevor. We're going to go back into some smaller groups now for topic number 2, which is consumer engagement for 2022, which that's a very broad topic. So I'm looking forward to seeing how all of you translate that and what we'll talk about here in about 25 minutes or so. So go ahead, Caitlin, and let's scatter us.
All right, Jack.
All right, cool. Thanks for joining us again, everybody. Looks like we're going to wrap a little bit early today, so we will give everybody the gift of time here in just a few minutes. But I was part of a really good group that had a lot of interesting ideas on engagement, and the group leader is Gabriella. So you're up first, Gabriella.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We had a lot of good discussion around what does it look like for 2022 customer engagement. TikTok came up, which we all expected to, and we're excited that there are brands using it. What we did say is figure out your tactic and your strategy. What are your goals and KPIs? So if we are doing TikTok, let's maybe good advice, tips, things of that nature that you can do for your brand to get the most engagement. The other thing we talked about is, even cause marketing, especially at a local level. So leveraging kind of your PR partners in that aspect, but not just at the brand level, but figuring out what you can do at a local basis. We discussed. And then some other things is just understanding, who your audience is. We talked, obviously, hiring is an issue at this point of time, but figuring out maybe what are some of those marketing strategies you can do and break them out by national brand, consumer marketing, and even hiring as its own category. Gives more transparency, but allows you to actually plan and budget better going into the new year. But as Jack said, you want to make sure people don't forget about your brand. If you're just talking about hiring, you're always going to need to have that brand and national brand awareness. So those were the key things that we discussed, and we're excited for what's to come for 2022. I think what we talked about is let's be realistic and going into 2022.
Absolutely. Thanks, Gabriella. Mary Hanula, how was your group?
So Mary had to drop off for a last minute urgent meeting, but she did send me some notes. So in our group, we talked about finding new tactics. TikTok absolutely came up in our conversation too. So it seems like that's something that we're all really kind of curious about for how that's going to impact our efforts in 2022. We also talked about tracking and amplifying conversions, how the pandemic has really pushed local marketing now more than ever, kind of utilizing digital marketing. We talked a little bit about kind of coming back to more traditional or old school methods. Everything old is new again, I guess, is a little bit of that combo that we had. And then success from different verticals. And we also talked about utilizing the Great Resignation as a targeting tool to help to enhance the results of campaigns.
Excellent. Thank you. I like that idea of using the Great Resignation as a positive in your marketing. So that's awesome. Mary Mills, you're up next.
We talked about the Great Resignation too, and how hiring has become the responsibility for marketing professionals everywhere. But mostly we talked about how, in franchising, pivoting is challenging because every location has lots of franchisees and ad funds and lots of things to consider. And then if you add to that the obstacles in privacy and restrictions, and then add to that how customers have a short attention span and they expect quick results and they expect quick attention, that does create some challenges for 2022. So our takeaways were that you have to really nurture the clients you have, develop strong loyalty programs and referral programs, customer service and treating those customers like gold is super important. And really just analyze those customers and the data around them. What prompts them to buy? How often do they buy? What are the purchasing triggers? And then take that and use that to build out your customer engagement plan for the next year. Already see what your current customers are doing and then plan around that. We talked about how, it's 16 to 20 engagements are needed to get a customer to move. So going omni-channel is super important. And sometimes old school things like mailers can stand out because it's a very crowded brand marketplace right now. So that was it for us.
All right, fantastic. And finally, Trevor.
Yeah, so Mary said something that we spoke about, which is what prompts them to buy. And it's not facts, it's not your 10-minute video, it's not your 50-page website, it's emotion. The engagement comes from how can you share emotion, and whether you're hiring people, whether you friend deb, just are you showing emotion and happiness? And the answer is usually no. So that's what we spoke about. But quick side fact, I found out that there was a twin on the call. Someone was married to a twin, someone had twins, another person had twins, and I'm a triplet. So that was cool. We went around the room and did facts. So that was really unique. So I just had to say that. And the biggest thing that we spoke about is people engage with people posts. Like that's plain and simple. So if you want engagement, you have to show your people. And it's so simple. And that's what people are overthinking and I don't really get it. So we really spoke about highlighting happy people. And the last thing that we spoke about is the best things are built in real life. So how can you go to somebody, go to shows, go, if you have a franchisee that's about to sign and you feel like you're about to lose them, fly to them, meet them in like real life. So that's where the engagement comes from.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think the two best things I heard today were show your people and engage with customers on their emotion, because that's where they're making their decisions. So thank you very much for that, Trevor. And speaking of getting together in person and flying out to see each other in person, before we go today, I want to urge everybody, if you haven't registered your company or yourself or your team for the IFA convention, please do so. It's February 26th through March 1st in San Diego. Not a terrible time to get out of the Northeast or the Midwest, right, and go to San Diego. So be sure to register and do that before the 31st of this month, because registration fees actually go up on January 1st. So get the best deal you can. One other pro tip: as soon as you can, register for your hotel rooms, because it's there's a lot of rooms available, but that block will go quickly. So you'll want to make sure that you get your hotels reserved as soon as possible. So with that being said, thank you all for joining us here for the last marketing workshop of the year. We will be back in February or maybe even toward the end of January with the schedule for what we're going to be doing next year with all of you. But again, thanks so much for making this happen, and we'll see everybody in San Diego.
Thank you all so much. Have a great rest of your day. Happy holidays.
Thank you.